Hey guys, it is Chase Armin here. Thank you very much for tuning into our podcast. I'm here with Julian.
Hello, hello.
AKA Jam V, AKA Jam 5. Alright, so today we are going to talk about Nintendo's E3. Let's talk about what we think we will and will not see this year. So, let's start with some of the, what we just know is going to be there. Alright, first of all, Breath of the Wild 2. That has been 2 years now. 2 years. The great reveal with the dark trailer in the cave, that has been 2 years. We have not seen anything out of that game in 2 years, except for the fact that it's in production. So, Julian, what are you hoping we'll see from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel this year?
I'm hoping we get Aonuma actually say something about the game this time, instead of we have nothing to announce.
Wait. Picture this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more announcement, guys. Aonuma cuts to black. Aonuma comes out, ready to drop the biggest bombshell in the world. Thank you very much, but we have nothing to announce today. Breath of the Wild production is going well, so please stay tuned.
No, it's like a dark chasm, and he's like slowly crawling out of it. We have nothing to announce.
No, he's like as Ganon, where he's like Ganon's like dead and then comes back to life. He's like cosplaying that.
Yeah.
Okay, realistically though, the second trailer for Breath of the Wild, and that is the best trailer I've ever seen for anything in my entire life. So whoever's on the Zelda team making the trailers, I hope that they make it for the sequel, because I just really want... It's been 2 years. So the thing about this one is that usually they have to make a new system. No, not a new system. They have to make like a new physics engine, or use a new engine, or heavily change an old engine to create a new game, like with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. But this has basically been the cycle length of a full new entry, which is this is an asset reusing, engine reusing sequel that has taken the full length of a brand new entry with a brand new engine. So that means every single thing that they've been doing since they started on this game has been building new characters, new enemies, new locations. Oh, it's also reusing the same world. So that means every single thing they've been doing for the past however many years has been building new stuff, not just an engine. So my expectations for this game are very high.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to think about like, even the time between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask was like what, 2 years at most?
1 year.
1 year, yeah.
1 year.
Yeah, so it takes 1 year to make a game like Majora's Mask when you already have the basis for it. So you got to think like, what are they doing in the meantime? And even during Breath of the Wild's production, they kept saying like, oh, we're taking our time with it. We've got so many ideas that we want to put in. I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like a Mario Galaxy 2 situation where they just had so many leftover ideas that they want to carry over, that it's just going to be like a whole bunch of stuff in there.
You are right on the money there, actually. I believe they stated this started as a DLC for Breath of the Wild, but they got so ambitious with it that they decided to make a whole new game out of it, because there's no way they could have fit it in the original game. So, something I'm really excited for that I hope we get is Breath of the Wild. While that was a beautiful and well-made game, I didn't like how the story was like all set in the past, and it's just you remembering past events. I want the story to unfold right in front of our eyes, so I want Zelda to actually be there physically with you. I want Ganon to be there. I don't just want him to be like a force of nature. I want him to be like an actual character. I don't want all the other characters to be like ghosts from the past. I want them to actually be like there in the flesh, story playing out in front of your eyes. That's something I really hope out of this.
Yeah, that would be something that I replayed Breath of the Wild 1 recently, and it was like kind of weird having everything just be, oh yeah, I remembered this. There's nothing that actually happened to you or is happening to you other than like, oh, Link, I haven't seen you in 100 years. How's it been? Like, I mean, after 5 or 6 times that happens, it's just like, oh, okay, who's this new old person?
Yeah, I want the story beats, like in current time. Zelda stories are very good. Like the Twilight Princess story, Wind Waker story was phenomenal. Skyward Sword story was excellent. So I really want another one of those very good Zelda stories where you see all the story beats as you play through the game. So
yeah.
And also it is the 35th anniversary for Legend of Zelda. So Mario got the ports, the celebration for that. So what do you think we could see out of a Zelda 30th anniversary?
I think it's really difficult to say because there's a lot of ways they can go with this. They're already releasing what is it, Skyward Sword on the Switch,
Right.
and they're putting a lot of they're putting a lot of like resources into that. It seems with like Switch hardware and like changing the actual game to work with a regular control scheme. So I don't know how much else they're putting into the 35th anniversary after that, but I would love to see what they do come up with.
So yeah, I definitely don't think we're gonna get any Zelda remasters before Skyward Sword HD because they don't want to steal the thunder from that game.
Yeah.
But after Skyward Sword HD, some time passes. Do you think we could potentially see some kind of like Zelda 3D All Stars, maybe Ocarina, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess?
That would be an interesting thing because, for the record, I don't really think that's going to happen. I don't think they really do the Zelda specials the same way they do the Mario ones. But I do think that a 3D All-Stars sort of situation with Zelda games would be very interesting because they have sort of remakes on the 3DS of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. So they have higher res models and the engine mostly the same in a lower resolution sort of format, and I feel like it'd be pretty easy to upscale those models and just make it work for a new generation.
Yeah, that's something I would be kind of worried about, is if they were going to do Ocarina of Time, they would probably do the original N64 version, because that's what they did with Mario 64. Even though they had to update it, higher resolution, Super Mario 64 DS, they went with the original. So there's a good chance if we see a Zelda 3D All-Stars, they probably have the original Ocarina in it. But especially, okay, with Skyward Sword HD coming out, and I think there's a good possibility we could get Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel as our big holiday title. That doesn't leave a lot of room in between for remasters, especially if they don't want to take attention off the other two new things. Yeah, also I really hope the sequel is not called Breath of the Wild 2, but has its own unique name.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think we've ever seen a Zelda game that shares a title with its the previous game.
Yeah, no, I don't think, other than like The Legend of Zelda 2, but even that had its own unique subtitle.
Well, yeah, it wasn't even called Legend of Zelda 2. It was just called Zelda 2: Adventure of Link.
Oh, okay, Zelda 2.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you get the idea.
Yeah, so I definitely think it will be an exciting year for Zelda fans.
For
We don't
sure.
really know what else is coming like through the end of the holiday season, other than the Pokemon, which I think Pokemon's another thing we're definitely going to see some of.
Oh,
so
for sure. Without
later
a
this
doubt.
year, we know we have Pokemon coming. Arceus the beginning of next year. But other than that, I don't think there's any like big Nintendo titles. So I definitely think Zelda could be one, or they might want to hold off on that one and take as much time as they did with Breath of the Wild, which I wouldn't complain about because that game turned out excellent. Take all the time you need.
Yeah.
I would rather have 10 years per Zelda game and have it be phenomenal than like a meh one every 3 years or something.
Yeah. Ideally, you want a Zelda game to last you 10 years.
Well, I don't want to wait that long, but I'd rather wait that long for a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pokemon, definitely, I don't think there's much more to say about the Gen 4 remakes. They're coming. We know what they look like. They're coming. Like, that's about it for that.
Yeah, there's not really much you can talk about. You could, like, oh, I wonder how they're going to, like, change the online, like the cave thing or whatever. And it's like,
I hope they have a Pokemon segment that's outside of the main show. I think that year that they did, when Breath of the Wild was like their only game on the show, I think they had like a smaller Pokemon reveal there as well. It might have been Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I could be wrong about that, but there was like they had a Pokemon reveal that wasn't part of the main show. So if they want to talk more about the Pokemon games, I hope they don't take up that precious chunk of time, because we've had almost no directs for like the past. We've had like one direct in like the past year and a half or something. So like every single second of that E3 presentation is going to be worth gold. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have as little wasted time as possible.
and you even got to think, 40 minutes is not a lot of time to cram in, like, everything that people want to see and people are going to be talking about. So even when we're going to be talking about, like, oh, do you think this is going to be there? Do you think that's going to be there? Likely, maybe 1 out of every, like, 5 things could realistically be shown. Maybe all of them. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe we're just gonna have like a lightning round for 20 minutes.
Okay, so here's something interesting. Nintendo, forecasting their sales, they set themselves an insanely high goal that they believe they're going to be able to reach. It's like, I believe it's either higher or as high as 2017, which is when they had the launch of the Switch, plus Mario Odyssey, plus Breath of the Wild, plus everything else that came out launch year. So they're anticipating themselves to have as big of a year as they did in 2017. Which, looking at the roster of what's coming up now, that's not going to happen unless they announce some very big stuff at this E3.
For sure, yeah, they've got to be holding something, and I think we just have to wait and see what that is. It's really hard to predict what Nintendo's thinking at any given moment, because they can just be like, oh, by the way, we're porting Splatoon 2 to the, 3DS.
I don't think
Just
that's a
for
likely possibility. But
You never know.
You know what I want?
I've heard rumors.
Tomodachi Life. on the
Tomodachi
Switch.
Life would be a very interesting thing, because we saw how they did Miitopia, and Miitopia, for the character editor alone, is worth $60, I would say.
Yeah, Miitopia is a lot of fun. I never played Tomodachi Life, so playing Miitopia and having all my friends and family and any other funny characters and stuff, my Sims, who I made Miis out of, anything like that I can take an adventure with. I would love to just live life with them in Tomodachi Life.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
and Tomodachi Life is just one of those games. I haven't played it. I've seen a lot of footage of it, because at the time it came out, I was poor.
High school boy.
But high school life. But yeah, when it came out, I was just very, very interested in all the just nothing you could do in the game, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's a very fun game to just watch people watch the Miis interact with each other.
I remember when they announced, when they were having the presentation for Tomodachi Life, and they had all the Nintendo execs. They had Reggie and Miyamoto and Iwata. They were all competing for Samus's love, and then she's like, Iwata, you're the one I love. He was like, yes. I miss when they used to do kind of the stuff like that. When they did the Reginator, or what is it, the Frieza Mech.
Oh yeah,
Frieza Mech, the Reggie robot that infiltrated the headquarters to find out the E3 secrets.
It's dude, you're the president. You should know that.
No. It was it was these nerds, and they were trying to figure out what Nintendo's was gonna reveal 6 weeks or 2 weeks or something ahead of the event, and so they made a robotic Reggie.
Oh, okay.
And it said it was, if you take one drink of water with this robot, it will explode. And Reggie's assistant was like, Reggie, it's time for your daily drink of water. And he was trying to force it onto the robot. He was like, no, and pushed it out of his hand. And then it made it this dramatic as the water fell to the ground. This over dramatic scene. I love watching that just every once a year or something.
Yeah.
Around E3 time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss when the directs felt a little bit more personal. I don't know how much that actually affected sales, but it felt like Nintendo was it had that more of Nintendo's your friend kind of feel. And I know it's a corporation and they're just trying to get money and stuff, but it was still a fun thing.
It was fun. That was an era in their time when they had for the Nintendo of America and Nintendo Japan, they had Reggie and Iwata, who were both very charismatic on the camera people. So not only were they the executive CEOs, they were also performers on the camera. They didn't really get in front of a camera. Versus now, they have businessmen, which is what they need in that position anyway. But these people, other than Doug Bowser, every once in a while, but he's nice, but he doesn't have that Reggie energy.
Have we seen Doug Bowser since his first direct appearance? When he first started?
No, they when they said, "Hey everybody, here's Doug Bowser," and they did that joke with Bowser coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Have we seen him since? I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. No, and you know who we haven't seen one time? The CEO of the Nintendo of Japan, the guy who's CEO over the whole company. He speaks fluent English. That's something I was really excited about when I figured out So after Iwata, they had that one older man who interimed for a while. and he did really good. That's when they launched the Switch and everything. Nintendo did great under him, and they had the new guy come in, and we haven't seen any, like, other than some interviews, just like text-based interviews. Like, we haven't seen him talk, haven't seen him on camera, anything. So
Yeah.
I miss when they would be very personable.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, back to games. So Pokemon, I don't want that to take a lot of time.
No.
Arceus, I would actually love to see some more into that because that's like Breath of the Wild Pokemon. I would not complain if that took up some time.
It's and not to say that Pokemon needs a revamp because they have all the money in the world. But if Pokemon wants to be more than a simple RPG, then they need like a new style of game. And I think that Pokemon Legends Arceus is probably the closest we're gonna get to that for a while, because it looks very interesting as a concept. Like, it's still like it's got the starters, it's got the basic story of going around catching Pokemon, and like you find more about the world that's unraveling around you. Not only is it back in more like ancient times, but it's also got a completely different like gameplay loop, it looks like. So instead of just like the usual like, oh, pick a move, the other thing picks a move, back and forth for the entire game, it's you're more strategic about it. I hope. I mean, I've seen exactly like 2 minutes of footage about the entire game. So,
yeah. Well, it's kind of cool to see like the franchise reinvent itself like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which kind of reminds me of how Breath of the Wild did. But the interesting thing is that there was the old Zelda formula, and Breath of the Wild reinvented the series and took it in a new direction. But for Pokemon fans, they'll have like the new style as well as the old style.
Yeah.
Which, as much as I love Breath of the Wild, I'll always kind of miss the old Zelda style. So it's interesting for Pokemon, they're gonna have like both the old and the new.
Yeah, especially with them releasing like what, a few months from each other. They announced, when did they announce the Arceus release date? Was it like February, I think?
I don't remember when. Pretty recently this year. And then the Diamond and Pearl remakes were just like announced out of nowhere. It wasn't part of a direct. It was just randomly dropped.
Yeah, they just like they just like announced both of them on Twitter just randomly. They're like, oh, by the way, this is when these games are coming out.
Yeah, you think because of how much demand that those have, you think that they'd make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Yeah.
Drop a little bit more information. By the way, this is the release date. It's a big reveal.
Yeah. Okay, so Splatoon 3, I think there's a good chance we could see that, or a good chance we couldn't see that, because Breath of the Wild 2, they announced that and it didn't show anything more for 2 years. Right. Splatoon 3, they just announced that at the last direct. We could get a little bit more about that, or they could hold off on that until maybe like next E3 to show some more about it, or maybe another direct. I think that's a good possibility, but also a good chance they won't say anything about it.
Splatoon 3 is an interesting one because I don't think I would have expected a new Splatoon game on this system. Splatoon always felt like a one game per console type of situation. Like, we have a Splatoon game already. I guess it's like, I don't know how much the Splatoon community is still latching onto that, or if they're still like, or if they're holding out for a new game at this point. But it'd be interesting to see how that sells and how that compares to the Splatoon 2 community.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm not the biggest Splatoon fan, but I have to admit, Splatoon 3, like just the vibe of it, how it's kind of like the post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It has a cool look for sure.
Yeah.
So I can see how Splatoon fans would be very excited about that.
Yeah. It definitely does look very different from the regular like Splatopolis, I believe it is.
Splatopolis.
Just a giant city that you go around painting.
I think Inkopolis or something.
Inkalopolis, that sounds more right.
Splatopolis.
Shout out to the Splatoon fan in the comments that's just roasting us.
Don't roast us. Okay, you can roast him actually. That'd be
Yeah,
kinda
I
funny.
mest up. That's on me.
Roast him in the comments.
I'm sorry. I'd like to take
Roast
this
him.
moment just to apologize.
Don't just roast him about that. Roast him about everything. His look, his personality, his voice. Just rip him to shreds.
Hey man,
in
this is the
comments.
first episode. We can't start with this much negativity.
But yeah, okay, Splatoon. Metroid 4. I would not bet money on it, but I think there's a chance it
We're
could
never
finally show
hearing
up.
about that game again.
Yeah, they're just gonna forget it ever exists.
They're gonna be like,
Someone's gonna ask them in an interview, "Whoa, when is Metroid Prime 4 coming out?" Huh?
oh, we
What?
lost
Metroid
the
Prime 4? What's
files."
that?
They're gonna go up on stage. There's gonna be like a giant Samus Aran like statue and like So we actually forgot where we saved the game files.
We were looking at our computer. We couldn't find the project file.
Yeah, it was Windows Updater. Yeah.
So yeah, that's possibility. I wouldn't bet. If I were a betting man, I would not bet money on it. But it is a possibility. Pikmin 4. Definitely also a possibility. They Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I was very happy about that as a Pikmin fan because I was like, that felt like the last chance for the series. Like if that failed, because every Pikmin game has been released on like an underselling console. So the first one was the GameCube, second one was the GameCube, third one was Wii U, so it never had like a true chance to thrive.
They had the new Play games on the Wii.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't like a big hyped up new release or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
That was just a port. So yeah, it never had like a true chance to have like a big launch like that. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is the highest selling game in the Pikmin series. It sold very well. So I was like, okay, if that failed on Switch, that probably would have been like it for the Pikmin franchise. So there's new hope now. Miyamoto said that they're working on Pikmin 4 like freaking years ago, even after Hey Pikmin came out. People in the comments gonna be like, oh, that was Hey Pikmin. No, after Hey Pikmin came out, he still said we're working on the new Pikmin game. Maybe he was talking about that freaking iPhone Pikmin game. Maybe that's Pikmin 4. But yeah, whatever. I also would not bet money on that, but I would be very happy to see some kind of new Pikmin title.
Yeah, I think maybe even not this year, but for the next E3 or even just a direct following this E3, it would definitely be a possibility to see some Pikmin content.
Yeah, if they were waiting until after Pikmin 3 Deluxe to see how it sold to decide whether or not to develop Pikmin 4, definitely no chance we'll see it yet. But if they already had it in development for quite a while, as Miyamoto said, then yeah, there's a chance it could show up. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey was 2017, which was 4 years ago. That's about the time between each new 3D Mario game is about. We're about that 3, 4, 5 years around there. Roughly, yeah. So, especially if it's an Odyssey 2 on the same engine, I could totally see them saying something about that this year. Because, for it to launch in that window, and we'd have like a 1 year-ish reveal before launch, I could definitely see us getting something like that this year. It depends. If it's a brand new line or brand new title or something like Super Mario Universe or whatever, definitely that will probably be a while longer. But if it's an Odyssey 2 built in the same engine, I could very much see that being a realistic possibility for this E3.
Yeah, for sure. I think for even just Mario's 35th anniversary, I think we've probably gotten as much as we're going to get out of it. We got 3D All-Stars, we got the 3D World remake, or remaster rather, port, pick your favorite. We got Bowser's Inside Story. I know it's the wrong title. I'm not changing it.
What?
It's not it's Bowser's Fury. I said Bowser's Inside Story. That's a different game.
I wish we got Bowser's Inside Story.
We did.
Rest in peace, Alpha Dream. I will never forget Alpha Dream. Rest in peace. Man, Bowser's Inside Story, the remake. If that had been on Switch, I would have cried tears of joy.
Dude, I'd love to have finished Bowser's Inside Story, but my game, I don't know what happened to it. It just soft locked, just halfway through, and I would play the game back to where I got soft locked, and it would just not do anything.
Dang, so where did it get soft locked?
So it was like this part where I think it was Bowser had to hit a shell, and that shell would hit a box, and the box is supposed to give you something, and then nothing would happen when I hit the box.
Well, you can borrow mine if you'd like to play it.
Frankly, I'm not dying to restart.
Bowser's Inside Story was the first game I ever remember being excited and waiting for.
Really?
I played Mario Sunshine and stuff growing up, but Bowser's Inside Story was the first time I ever remember seeing the trailers and being really excited for a game to come out. Man,
That's
that
pretty
was
cool.
a good game. That was a good game. I miss the Mario and Luigi series.
Yeah. I mean, I liked what I played, the first half of it or whatever.
Great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. Okay. Mario. Maybe a Mario side game. Okay. You know what I would love? Mario Kart 8 DLC.
Yeah.
Free money.
How is
Free
they
money.
not done anything with the most popular selling game on the Switch?
Yeah.
No DLC, no add-ons, no costumes, no additional stages, no nothing.
Yeah. So
just-
8 Deluxe included 8's DLC. But if they made more DLC for 8 Deluxe, which is far and away the highest selling racing game of all time and the highest selling game on the Switch, think about they make the company makes a large portion of their income just from Smash DLC. So if they can make Mario Kart 8 DLC, even if it's just like a couple new cups, that is easy for them. And that's like tons and tons of money. I would be throwing the day it came out, I'd be open my wallet, take it, Nintendo, take it.
Yeah. And you even got to think about how much they probably made from regular Mario Kart 8 DLC.
Yeah.
Like on the Wii U. And that's the Wii U.
Yeah, I would love to see some 8 DLC.
Yeah.
Hands down, hands down. I want Captain Falcon in Mario Kart. They gave his stage, they gave his music, they gave his car, but man, where's my boy, Captain Falcon? He's basically a Smash Bros. Exclusive at this point.
Yeah, he's the Smash Bros character. He's from the Smash Bros series of games.
F-Zero, new F-Zero.
How many Smash games are there and how many F-Zero games are there?
There's probably more Smash games.
Yeah.
Well, you can say that for a lot of Smash characters, but like he's
That's
like
true.
in Smash, he's iconic.
Yeah.
He's like an icon of Smash. Smash hype. But yeah. Mario Kart 9. Again, I would absolutely love to see that, but 8 is still okay. Usually when a game comes out, it sells, it's like it's peak near launch and then like it still sells, but it's like on a downwards decline. 8 Deluxe has been selling more. It's on like an upwards decline. Its sales keep going higher and higher, not slowing down anytime soon. So I don't think they're gonna make Mario Kart 9 for a while, or even if they do have it completely finished, they could just be sitting on it, like until like a few years when 8 slows down, 8 Deluxe slows down or something. Yeah, I don't see them launching a new Mario Kart. As much as I would love that, and as we are at that time in the cycle, the circumstances of 8 Deluxe are just unique. So I don't see them wanting to replace that right now.
Yeah.
And if they did, they would probably want to call it not 9, but something else, because then people wouldn't buy 8 Deluxe, like Mario Kart World or Mario Kart Ultimate or something.
What if they for every single game that's like special in some way, they just call it the Ultimate version?
Yeah, I think I've been seeing the word Ultimate appear on video games, like Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Like, I think I've been seeing the word Ultimate appear on more games since Smash Ultimate
Yeah.
came out. That might just be me noticing it more.
And well, Mortal Kombat, I think maybe just be trying to trick people into thinking it's Smash.
Mortal Brothers 11.
If we can just make people think it's the Smash, it's a fighting game, it's got Ultimate in the name, that's a system seller
Close
right there.
enough, close enough.
Yeah, you got it.
Speaking of Ultimate, that is the second thing we will without a doubt see. Smash Bros. DLC.
sure.
Fighters Pass 2 has 2 more slots on it. Last E3 we had, they announced 2. It was Banjo and one other one. I can't.
And it was Hero.
Hero.
Yeah.
Hero and Banjo? Yeah, Hero and Banjo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a strong possibility they could round out the Fighters Pass at this E3. That'd be cool. And maybe announce, hey, we're not done. Maybe announce 1 or 2 more. Not announce the fighters, but announce, hey, we're working on some more DLC. Or announce Fighters Pass 3. They make an insane amount of money off the Fighters Passes. So for them to stop making those after this would be psychotic.
It'd be ridiculous.
To be frank.
How could you justify? Oh yeah, no, this is the highest selling fighting game of all time.
Yep.
The DLC alone can pay like the rent of my entire building. There's no way they don't have more fighters after this, I feel like, because it's just so much money that they could have.
Yeah, so I could see them opening with a fighter. I think that's a strong possibility. So starts the boom, whatever.
Yeah.
Fighters Pass or fighter. Closing with Zelda probably, or closing with another, or showing Zelda near the end and then closing with another fighter. They're probably gonna close with Zelda because that just is the most hyped up thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see 2 fighters getting revealed because they didn't have a show last year, so to kind of make up,
Yeah.
show 2 fighters revealed. Close out the pass, maybe announce a 3rd pass, maybe not, who knows? But yeah, plenty of rumors. Oh, Doomslayer, Crash Bandicoot,
Monster Hunter, yeah.
Monster Hunter character.
An actual dragon.
There's so many rumors, but I've given up on trying to predict who the reveals are gonna be because time and time again I'm just like, I never would have guessed this.
Yeah.
So hey, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Sakurai, my homie, give me some good stuff.
Shouts to the home dog.
Dream character. If you could have anyone, no matter how unrealistic.
If I could
Smash,
have
who would it be?
any character, well, before it was Steve.
Steve.
Unironically, it was Steve.
Steve was also like number one on my list.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I would probably pick. I'd need to think about this. Get back to me.
Okay. I would say, well, okay, let me say, Steve was my number one, and then there's Sephiroth, who I love Final Fantasy VII, and Sephiroth is literally the sickest character in this game now. He's the coolest character in this game, hands down. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm completely satisfied with this Fighter's Pass, no matter who it is. So I'll be happy with anybody. This Fighter's Pass has satisfied me. But to choose any one dream character would probably be Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X, because I love that game and I love that character, and I would love to see more recognition brought to that title. And she's my when I was 14 years old, she was my crush, my video game crush. Ooh,
What?
I must admit,
You had those?
my lady friend. But yeah, she's super cool. I'd love to have her in the game. That's not realistic, especially after Pyro and Mithra.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Oh, new Xenoblade. That's another.
New Xenoblade, that's
new
true.
Xenoblade, or the new Monolith Soft title. Monolith Soft has, I mean, other than Deluxe, other than Xenoblade, I don't think it was Deluxe, Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Other than Definitive Edition, they have been working on a new IP for quite a while. I'm not sure if this is another Xenoblade title or if it's a new IP, but they showed some like artwork for it a while back. It's like a medieval Zelda-ish Final Fantasy Xenoblade looking game. So we could see that. So that could be Xenoblade 3. We could get X2, which I would absolutely love X2. Which is, yeah, so there's Xenoblade 2, and then X is like another Xenoblade series. So they have X, which is in its own universe, and then like X2. I would love to see X2. Man, that's probably one of my favorite games of all time is X. So
Yeah.
Monolith Soft, we haven't seen anything from them in a while, so I think them showing up somehow would be very likely.
Yeah, I think even they should just port. I think they should port regular Xenoblade X onto the Switch, just to have like the full Xenoblade package on one console. I think would be very good for Xenoblade fans.
Absolutely, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of the only Wii U games, only one of the only big Wii U games that has not been ported. Every single other Wii U game that's like a big deal, but like X is literally one of the last ones that has not been ported to the Wii U or ported to the Switch. Like they got the 3D World, Pikmin 3, they got the Bayonettas, they got all the big games. Bayonetta, that's another one. Bayonetta 3.
Yeah,
Could finally be time for that. I'm not personally a Bayonetta fan, but if I were a Bayonetta fan, I would be very upset because they announced it like 3 years ago now.
No,
what?
It was what was it? Game Awards 2017.
My gosh,
Almost
4 years ago.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
They've been talking about it since nearly launch, and they still have nothing to show for it. Actually, was it 2017 or was it before the console came out?
I don't remember, but I know it was quite a while ago, so I'd be very impatient if I were a Bayonetta fan. And now, or a Metroid fan for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Or a Zelda fan.
Yeah.
Plenty of impatient people around here.
Speaking of impatient, I'm gonna interrupt you and say that my Dream Smash character would be Infernape from Pokemon.
Which one is that?
It's the fire starter from Gen 2 or Gen 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Infernape was probably my favorite starter just because like it looks so cool. It's a monkey and it punches people and it's on fire.
That's fair.
How do you get better than that?
That's fair.
And think about even how many firefighting Pokemon starters we've had throughout the years in Pokemon, and they have no Smash representation. The only fire...
You know who I would love to see? Cinderace. I'd love to see Cinderace.
Cinderace would be pretty cool.
We're talking fire.
We didn't have a Gen 7?
Sword and Shield. We'll just say that.
Sword and Shield. Yeah, we don't have a Sword and Shield starter.
I would take Cinderace in a heartbeat. Cinderace, he was my starter. I loved him. He was my homeboy. His name was JoJo. So
Yeah, I think I picked. Is that the fire one?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Fire
what I-
Bunny.
Yeah, Fire Bunny. Yeah, that's the one I picked too. I don't know. I like the fire starters.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, okay. I think that covers all the basics. Any wild cards you think could be thrown out that you'd like to see?
I don't think. I don't have any out there ideas as to what they can do. I think pretty much everything. Nintendo has such a back catalog of like games that they talked about that just need to happen already that it's hard to think of anything new because we're all still waiting on like something that they announced in 2004. Oh yeah, what else could I possibly want? Well, I want the stuff you already told me about.
Yeah, they could absolutely have a stellar E3. They have the setup, all the announced games, the things we know about and the things we don't. They could absolutely just steal the show at E3 if they play their cards right. You know, if they don't try with their sales forecast, that really has me hyped. Oh, speaking of that, Switch Pro. Switch Pro. Rumors here, rumors there. Oh, it's coming. Oh, this company said this. Oh, this Amazon listed that. rumors. Do you think Switch Pro is coming? Do you think they're gonna announce it at E3?
I think that Nintendo is not stupid. They said that they're gonna talk about software for 40 minutes in their direct. I don't know if they're gonna talk about it too much, even in their like treehouse afterwards.
Or they could reveal it before the show.
That's what I'm thinking, but they're kind of running out of time to do that.
Yeah. Well, especially with the chip shortage right now and just general difficulty of making electronic stuff.
Yeah.
That would be hard to get out a new console right now. Well, oh, by the way, so a Switch just this week officially surpassed Xbox 360 sales. It's above 80 million now, so I think that places it like 7th highest of all time.
I think so.
So the highest of all time is PS2 with about 155 million, and Switch, where Switch is now, it's 10 million ahead of where PS2 was at this point in its life. So if it keeps at that momentum, we could have a new console king.
Yeah, and you even got to think about if a Switch Pro does happen and they combine those sales, because I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, that would.
You got to think about all the people who already have Switches are going to be upgrading. All the people who want to get into Switch now are going to be buying the Switch Pro. People are going to be wanting to play on the new fancy console.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be gravitating towards the new hardware.
Oh, yeah. Nintendo will certainly make some cash if they have a Switch Pro. I think it's very likely because it's time, and I mean we've had rumors, so I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen, but I would not be surprised if it did happen. I think it's a very good possibility.
Yeah, for sure. And even just for like, even just for the sake of upgrading the hardware, because people have been talking about Switch Pro since basically the day the Switch came out. It feels like, because Switch hardware is kind of anemic compared to even just the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's in need of an upgrade.
Yeah, but I mean Nintendo works well with that kind of hardware, and I don't necessarily fault them for that. But it would be very interesting to have them sort of try to push their power limit with something like the Switch, and see how far that can take them.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, that is all the time we have for today. Julian, thank you for talking with me. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We plan on doing a reaction for the E3 show with the boys. Group reaction video. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe, hit that like button. I have a very interesting podcast coming up. The voice of Lord Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. And also, he's been on The Walking Dead, Tobin, The Borderlands, Krieg. He is a very accomplished actor and voice actor. He will be on the show here soon.
Hakai.
So, subscribe to see that. Thank you all for watching. Julian, anything else you'd like to say?
Like the video, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is @jamv_IRL. I post funny things sometimes. Yeah.
Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Stay safe. Have a nice day.
Have a good one.